Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 10 Soviet destroyer, Khabarovsk. The reason I'm playing this, I'm working on Yamamoto, and we're up to the destroyer part of the missions. These missions do 100,000 damage against battleships. There's a bunch of weird ones, like spot 300 torpedoes or something like that, and hit 20 torpedoes, ship launch torpedoes, stuff like that. And it's obviously only for destroyers. There are a couple cruiser exceptions, but I think those are all torpedo-esque exceptions, which it would be way easier to play a destroyer versus any cruiser that you might have. So this destroyer is headed towards D point. Why did I choose D? I spawned on the east side. I could go D or C. I felt like I have the speed to get to this isolated area quickly, be the first. I also have the potential that not everyone on the enemy team is going to go out here, so it could be a free take, and I can always move back towards the center if need be. I am a Soviet destroyer. We are spotted, but we also see who does the spotting. It's a Gearing. He's trying to capture C point, and he rushed for that position where you can hide behind the island. Normally, it's not going to be punished, but my knowledge that he's there definitely is going to punish him, and I'm going to try and get in position to perhaps fire at him, but also use my very limited use case torpedoes. These torpedoes are a piece of crap range-wise, but the detectability, if you get to the target, they have no reaction time. It's like 0.6 seconds, or sorry, not 0.6 seconds, 0.6 kilometers detection on these torpedoes. And oh, we spot him out. Someone spots him, not us. So I'm just going to engage him, do a little bit of damage. He has a slight angle, so I don't think switching to AP would be viable. HE is more than enough, and we do a little bit of damage. We set him on fire. The torpedoes, obviously the gap was much more narrow than the spread I could get. Can't go any more narrow. But it looks like our torpedoes are on point. We take out the gearing, and that takes one threat off the board for spotting. There's only 3 enemy destroyers left. The destroyer is obviously the most important class objectively for the objective. I don't think anyone can refute that. And when you take them out, your battleships, your cruisers, even other destroyers are going to feel more comfortable playing the match. The enemy Kurosukua first, I don't know what the hell he was doing. He was coming into a very isolated area. We were behind the island firing on him. I moved to be visible. I don't really feel threatened because of the range that he has to engage me. And I noticed that I'm getting maybe a little bit too close. Maybe I need to be a little bit careful. I'm hoping to set some fires. Now, the astute of you might notice I'm using concealment, advanced firing training, survivability expert, and the skills you obviously can't see, demolition expert, basic firing training. I'm all in on the gun systems. There's really no reason to ever try torpedoes in this boat. The range is just horrible. Even with the best concealment, I could only hope to outrange or to have maybe 2 kilometers where I'm spotted and send these torpedoes. They're only 6 kilometers now. It was a huge nerf to an aspect of the ship that I don't think people disliked. I think they should have addressed the gunfire systems. But that's not the direction they went. They chose to keep the guns very, very powerful and limit their torpedo effectiveness, which has basically killed the torpedo for this class. Not that there's, I don't feel any remorse whatsoever. Don't misinterpret it. They deserve all the nerfs they get. I don't know that it actually did any nerf. Right? I talked about this way back when they did it. Was that like a month ago at this point? And yeah, they're still as broken as hell for damage at range, and I don't really notice the lack of torpedo range. I just wish I could do more with my torpedoes. It always feels bad when they just sit there in the tubes, and I'm conscious of this. It is a weakness of me. I look for the perfect torpedo send rather than sending as often as I can, and there's really no reason to send a 6-kilometer range torpedo. But we're engaging targets, setting fires. The Missouri's going to try and line of sight us. That's fine. We've already done basically 70,000 damage. It's just so easy. Isn't it so easy? I definitely recommend the Soviet destroyer line for any of the raw damage numbers, like do 100,000 to battleships, I think it will be much easier to do in the Soviet destroyers than anything else. Yeah, sure, Shimakaze, absolutely, you could get that in one good attack. I'm not refuting that at all. I just think that this particular ship is the most consistent performing for damage at range. Maybe not objective play, maybe not torpedo hits, obviously, and maybe not concealment, but if you're trying to work on one of the missions and it requires you to do 100,000 damage to battleships, this is the one. Especially with all the fire. So this enemy Grosser crew first, I was afraid that he would go after my Friedrich der Grosse. Yes, I'm firing directly on him. I knew he would move out of the way. We didn't clip him at all. And we're trying to help finish off this guy. Perfectly broadside. Obviously AP, you go for the superstructure. And it worked out very well. Almost 100,000. Now that wasn't all to battleships, unfortunately. But we're making good progress. Now, can the game continue? Or are we going to miss out on reaching 100,000 against battleships? We did what? Probably 15,000 to the enemy gearing. I think that's fair. And then everything else is against battleships. So we need to get probably 25 to 30,000 to be safe. More. And of course, the one target I want to fire at, the enemy Yamato. He's hidden. Come on, show yourself. I don't really want to spot him. If there's not an easy way to engage. It would take a long time. I don't have smoke. If I had smoke, I might be more inclined to push forward through that little gap. Maybe I could have communicated a friendly using an aircraft, but eventually he spotted, and eventually we can engage. Now, we are a little tall. Khabarovsk is, of course, a light cruiser. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I have to be mindful that I am going to be spotted when there is a very low, shallow piece of the island. And the friendly, I think, some on fire. So we're not... If we could get a fire on this guy, that would really help us out. But I don't know that that's going to happen. We've only done about... Oh, here we... Okay, well, he's firing. The best position I could be in is perfectly broad for this. Absolute best. Yes, I'm going to take damage. But the shell's never going to stick in the ship. Never going to stick in the ship. There is no way on the planet Earth that the Yamato or any battleship shell is going to stick in this ship if I'm perfectly broadside. Is it easier to hit? Absolutely. But you're not going to get one shot. It's a trade-off. And I have the heal, so I'm okay. So we do a little bit of damage. We don't set a fire. Well, actually, I think we did. Did we set a fire? Yeah, we set a fire. He's still on fire, but man, we need... I need about 15,000 more, I think, just to be comfortable, right? And he's the last one on the team. I think I'm right at the edge. I think I'm at like 95,000, maybe 90,000. I think I'm very, very close. The fire's out, unfortunately, and I don't think there's enough health. There's a Minotaur there, and the Yamato. I'm gonna miss out on this by. I'm gonna miss out on this by just like less than 10,000. It's gonna be so sickening. And there was like there's 5 battleships in the enemy team. So yeah, it's not possible in one torpedo salvo to get 100,000 damage, unless you get lucky and you get floods on other targets. But this feels very consistent. I mean, this was my first game in the ship, and I got super, super lucky. And notice I'm perfectly broadside. I am absolutely in the right position to fight this guy. And, oh, God. I don't think we got it. I don't think we got it. I think we're just on the cusp. Either way, regardless of whether we succeed in accomplishing the campaign mission, it was fun. And obviously, it's a really powerful ship. Right? It's very good at doing damage. And that's why I went concealment. I've heard the responses, you could go try radar location and there's a fusee explosive. Pick up more skills at level 3. I don't really feel like that's worth it. I think I notice the concealment more. It allows me to at least attempt You know, if I take out all of the enemy DDs on their side, I could theoretically still play the objective because that's how passive the cruisers and the battleships are once their destroyers are gone, and I don't blame them. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to play to your strengths, and one of your strengths is not going into a vulnerable area where you could get torpedoed. But that's a part of the game, right? So I really do like concealment on my Soviet destroyers. It just feels like I can at least pretend like I play the objective rather than have a worse concealment than the Zao, right? That feels awful. That really does feel awful. I feel so useless. I feel like I'm just a damage dealer, and that's not good enough. That's just not good enough for me. And I was looking at the team. You could see the damage. I was like, you know, we tried. We're going to probably not be able to capture this before the game's over. I'm trying, but clearly it's not going to happen. I always think that there should be some sort of... I should benefit from just capturing the area. Just gain a little bit of ribbon bonus here, a little bit of XP. Even though we don't capture it, you're still contesting and actively playing around the objective. I think that's another reason why people just don't go. You have to be there for the end capture. So we did 127,000, 3 kills, 12 fires, and I don't believe I got the task done. But Khabarovsk did a great job. 1,989, I think. And yeah, it was a really fun game. I hope you enjoyed seeing this ship. It is still very effective. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.